This is the model that I made a couple of weeks ago because we had to give our architects, Felix and Max, a set of specifications for the spaces that we need. So it would be things like, we need a workshop with a degree of soundproofing. It would be nice to have visibility from the outside of what's going on in here. We also need like a quiet room, which we've called the library, and of course a little studio, so we can make some noise.
KORG Germany is 100% subsidiary of KORG Inc., which is in Japan. We are going to be a company that engineers stuff, that ideates, and that
makes things.
That makes things, physical things. And we want it to be a place where we can discover values and discover like interesting things in products, and not on paper, by prototyping the actual ideas and by testing them very intensively. So we need engineers, basically. I'm an engineer, Max is an engineer. We also need another electrical engineer, mechanical engineer, a software engineer. It's going to be a place where I've said the word engineer so many times. It's going to be
we also need office man. We also need administrative stuff.
We need office
someone
manager.
to cover our backs.
Yeah, and keep the place running nicely. But the core idea is that it's a place where we build stuff, and I think that is the most important thing. And the reason we really want to build stuff, and the reason we really want to discover values that we don't yet know about, is because there are just so many products out there already. It's on one hand, it's very easy, for example, to do a reissue of a vintage synth or a different version of something that already exists. But actually, there's just so much stuff out there now that we really, really need to assess, and we really need to think about, is this thing that we've created and that we think is good, is it really worth producing?
We've got quite a generous space, over 200 meters squared.
The real office we're going to be using currently looks like a bomb site.
An old factory building which is from the 19th century, actually. About 120 years old. Old factory building near Görlitzer Bahnhof, which was a former station in Berlin, train station in Berlin. It's a brick wall building with a company that manufactures PCBs, electric circuit boards, since 60 years, I guess. And where we were renting out parts of the building for the office.
The purpose of the model was basically that, to kind of define our needs based on physical, kind of tiny versions of real physical things, which is the way we like to work, which is why we've got a machine. This one is admittedly a much nicer model made by the pros, and we've just gathered today to go through some options and some ideas about how we want to use the space. This example here is very different. I mean, this one we've kind of pretty much put all of the kind of the facilities in one row here, so that we've left like a bigger single space for the rest of the office. Whereas this one utilizes the facilities to kind of spread out the space.
I expect us to open somewhere towards the end of May, beginning of June. Currently, I think we are on time.
We're lucky enough not to be under such tremendous pressure to really put something out really quickly that's really profitable.
We're obviously going to be taking on some parts of the DNA of the KORG brand, of the way it's done. I've completely been immersed in the KORG kind of environment for a good 10 years, and it's a case of but there's no point in starting something new if we do it in the same way as it's done already. Yeah. So we need to be very, very thoughtful about which parts of tradition do we want to incorporate and take on.
So we're looking for people to join the team, and you can go to korg.berlin to apply. We set up a website, which is kind of a questionnaire with an interview situation. We're not asking for any grades or like how you qualifications, how you pass your engineering exams. It's more about what inspired you. What are the underlying ideas behind you being an engineer, you being an office manager. Why do you like what you're applying for?
Please apply to KORG.Berlin.